good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are around the world. My name is Isaiah. Thank you so much, Ruth, and thanks to Get Through My Share and all the organizers of this important program we are celebrating in the month of March. As my bio briefly explained, I'm Isaiah. My purpose of coming on today is briefly to talk on few things, but to focus on social justice. But before I could go into that, listening to Tashini and Angel, the two of you have really inspired a lot of energy within me. And I believe with time, we are all going to make a positive change to many people who think life is no more a meaningful thing to live. Because the more we hold on and believe in God, hope is always possible. Coming to speak today, I want to briefly hint back to historical facts, thinking about the life many people lived as refugees. Going back to World War II, I want to bring our attention this morning to key people that really had horrific life experiences living in unbearable conditions within their territories. I want to talk briefly on the fact that hope, I repeat again, hope is the only bridge that can lead us to freedom, regardless of which state we find ourselves in. When we have hope, it leads us to freedom. During World War II, there was a psychiatrist called Victor Frankl. Victor Frankl had horrific life experience. In the concentration camps, he lost his father, his mother, his wife, his brother. They all were sent to the gas chambers. And during those times, when they see that you are weak, you are meant to go to the gas chamber. The only people that survived were the strong. And those that had cruel mind, very wicked people, they are the ones that survived. They tortured, they killed millions of people. But he survived. And he took a quote from Friedrich Nietzsche. He said, "He who has a why to live can bear almost with any how. He who has a why to live can bear almost with any how." While in the refugee camps, I was almost telling myself most of the time, there is nothing to live for. You know, when I was listening to Tashini and also the poem that Angel read, it really recalls some of the memories I had growing up as a young boy in 5 refugee camps. They will break, they tell you, today you are going to move. And where you are moving, you don't even know. For 14 horrible years, experience all sorts of life. But what kept me going was believing that I will one day find freedom through the bridge of hope. On the 23rd of March, 1991, when the Civil War entered my country, Sierra Leone, I was moving around like any young boy, full of energy and passion. Suddenly, I came home, mom, dad, siblings, everyone was gone. All the doors were shut. And I was like a recipe for the revolution, because if I could stay, I would have been dead long time ago. But I made a choice, and that choice kept me alive to be here today. I said I won't stay here, I have to run. I started running for my life. For 3 days, I was running to cross over into another country. Entering that country, another page of my life commenced. So my refugee journey, to start with, was not a rosary one. And I always tell people there is a significant distinction between refugees and migrants. Because in Australia, people always ask you, when are you going back home? How are you feeling being here? And I tell them, I never choose to be here. I don't even know what brought me here. I was a refugee, and that was all I knew. But to the glory of God, today, I am here because I believe that there was a bridge of hope. And today I'm here because I know that God never finished with me. He had a purpose for me. I'm here because I knew that God was doing something, not only for me, but to transform many other people. And that brings me to my refugee settlement experience. In Australia, when I arrived in 2006, I was so much afraid that when they took me to the University of Tasmania, they showed me the library. I saw thousands of books. I literally fainted because I've never ever had the opportunity of entering a library with so many books. And I asked, why are all these books for? They said, well, if you want to have a degree, you have to read, you have to train yourself to be serious in reading. I said, and this is not for me because I'm coming from an environment. My book was the cutlass and my pen was the hoe to dig the soil, plant crops. So it was a challenging moment for me to come and retrain myself to become a graduate. All my generation, none of my family members ever went to higher school. So in the whole of the Lahai generations, I'm the only one that took on the challenge. And that challenge really brought a mental breakdown to me. There were times they would even diagnose me with mental health condition. And that's because of fear. There was serious fear of the unknown within me. I never believed that I could go through university. And to the glory of God, when I graduated in 2014, I became one of the top in our class. I was inducted into the Global Education Hall of Fame for the University of Tasmania because I came out with distinctions. And that really pushed my passion into contributing to the community in Australia. In 2009, while I was in Tasmania, I was one day driving a taxi to keep on living for my family, and I was racially abused. I got beaten up by two white boys. They were drunk. They enter my taxi. They don't want to pay money. And what they did, they started insulting me, calling me a black dog, using all sorts of insults. They could not stop there. They beat me up. I told myself, I've been a refugee for many years. I've seen many horrific things happen to me. This is not going to break me down. So I kept it to myself. But because in Tasmania, I used to contribute so much to the community, so much to the development of multiculturalism, the issue leaked out and the Tasmanian government took up the story. They said they are not going to let it die like that. They charged these boys to court. The issue gained national news in Australia. It was in the news, national news, and they put two of them in prison for 9 months. I told them, for us to achieve change that will last, putting people in prison is not going to solve the problem. We have to educate the society. I became an activist advocating for people who bullied me because I've always believed that forgiveness is not for the perpetrator, but forgiveness is for you, the victim. Because if you don't forgive, every day you see the person that has done wrong to you, you are boiling up. Something is in you that is really burning. But when you forgive, you relieve yourself from the torment, from the anger, from the torture, from the pain. So I advocated for these boys to not spend 9 months in prison. And to the glory of God, they did not complete the 9 months, they released them. 7 years on, when I have moved out of Tasmania, I received a call from one of the people that beat me up. I did not pick it. And then he sent me an email. I still got that email within my email box. He said, each time I try to write you, my conscience will not permit me because of the shame and the guilt I feel when I bullied you. I never knew you were so much a human more than me. Even though we beat you up, but you still advocated for us not to be jailed. He said, is it possible for me to come and see you and do reconciliation? I cried when I saw that email, but then I immediately replied. I said, I forgave you the very day you bullied me, because if I was not to forgive you, I would have thought of committing suicide. Because when I was coming to Australia, they told me you are going to a freedom land, a land where you will no longer be abused, where you will no longer be tortured. So for you to come and abuse me, beat me up, I never felt well within myself. And we reconciled. I got some videos about that on my YouTube channel. He said he beat me up. I should not blame him. It's because of binge drinking. Australian kids, they like drinking, and when they drink, they forgot that they are human, this, that. I said, let's forget about the history. Let's focus on the future. I took upon myself using that very message, speaking to schools, engaging with communities, engaging with the federal government. I became a People of Australia ambassador. In 2014, I was given Citizen of the Year award in Tasmania. I was given Human Rights Award, Australian Medal of Courage. All of those awards were given to me. I told them, this is not enough. There is still a lot we can do to help humanity, and that is education. And that brings me to diversity. Many wars we are seeing, experiencing today within our world, they could not be possible if there is education for all. If every child in the developing world, in the poorer countries, in Africa, Asia, Europe, North, South America, if they all have the privilege to education, which I believe is a human right that we all should have, there will not be too much poverty. There will not be too much killing. But you think of countries like my country I came from, Sierra Leone, 70% of the population are illiterate. The 1% of the politicians who have the wisdom to rule humanity the way they want, they ask these young boys to kill each other for politics. That never happens in Australia because everyone has something to do. So if we all can educate kids in poorer countries, it makes a difference. So I took upon myself, currently I run 2 school programs. One, I started from scratch. I built the school. I paid the teachers. The kids are going to school free of charge. The other, I sponsor them. They are running the school, doing great things, and children are really, really doing well. I've always believed that there is a serious distinction between legacy and prosperity. You can be as prosperous as King Solomon. If you haven't got a legacy, when you die, everything about you die. But when you leave a legacy, when you sow a seed in a person's life, even if you don't know them, it makes a difference. This is what keeps me going. When I see the children telling me, God bless you, education is the key to life, it keeps me moving. And today I want to encourage us. Educating a girl child specifically is educating the world. When we invest into educating girls, it makes a whole lot of difference. So wherever you are, if you can invest into your community, into those areas you believe, when you invest, it will bring multiple growths for the future. It will make a difference. I have a lot of stories to share, but I don't want to take all of your time. To end with, I want to close your minds to who I am, because I was born in a polygamous home. My father had 7 wives. To the glory of God, I have only one, which is good. Out of the 7 wives, my mother was the first. She had 11 of us. Out of the 11, only 3 of us are alive. Out of the 3, I'm the only one that can talk and hear. My elder sister, who is here with me in Australia, she cannot properly talk or speak, or hear. She has multiple medical conditions. My younger brother in Africa also cannot properly talk or hear. So it is only a miracle and the grace of God that made me who I am. And I've always believed that I'm no different to any of my siblings, but God knows why he kept me to be here. And so today, let us push on, hold on to hope, because I believe to have freedom, we need the bridge of hope. To have a safe future for our next generation, we need women of substance who can stand up and say, enough is enough. We have to make a change. And this is the change I believe this summit has. Thank you, and God bless you all.